Hi, everyone. This is Erin from Engearment.com. I've got Margaux Elliot of Lume Six here to talk with us about her wonderful brand of sports bras. She also just seems like a really kick-ass person, and when I was introduced to her, I just thought it would be a really fun conversation for the podcast. So we'll just start in with some introductions. So, Margaux, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Margot. I've always been an active athlete, since a young age. And in college, I pursued fashion, but it was always tied to action sports. And at one point, I really focused on sports apparel, and my whole career has been in technical apparel development. And yeah, I founded Lume Six, and it launched 4 years ago. And I'm super stoked to be here. So thanks for having me.
Great. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about your sporting background? There's a little bit of it on the website in the About You section. Sounds like you've had
Yeah.
some really fun things.
Yeah, totally. So, like most people, I did team sports in high school. I was a water polo player mostly and like pretty competitive in that and swimmer. Yeah, I got really strong doing that, which was awesome. I kind of took a break from sports in college. Just I was in New York City and studied abroad and just didn't have the access to it in quite the same way and prioritized other things. But then after college, I was always a snowboarder, and it was kind of on a snowboarding trip that I realized I could combine passions that I had. And so I was really into action sports and doing snowboarding and kind of getting to the mountains as much as I possibly could from those places. So yeah, it's not entirely true that I took a step away. Actually, if anything, it was a focus. It was just harder to get to. So maybe it made me appreciate it that much more. And then after snowboarding, I lived in Santa Cruz. It was really hard to get up to the mountains and get to the snow from here. The traffic is really hard getting up to Tahoe, and it's just expensive and all those things. And Santa Cruz is an epicenter for mountain biking. So I got really into mountain biking and was like, it's like living at a ski resort, but for a different sport. And yeah, got super into it, started racing, did some enduro racing, went to New Zealand, did a trans race, which is like a 6 day race, and you're blind racing descents. The climbs aren't timed, and that was awesome. And then kind of wasn't sure what to do about racing and decided to commit to climbing 1 million feet in a single year on a mountain bike. And I did that in 2020. So it started before the pandemic. So I was riding, the average works out to 3,000 feet a day. But I was doing 3,000 foot days and then two 6 to 8,000 foot days on the weekend. So it summed up to like 25 hours of mountain biking per week. And yeah, it was the best, like spending that much time outside and being that active. And especially a year where there was so much chaos, I felt really grounded by this goal I had committed to. And yeah, I finished, and I was the first woman to do that in a single year on a mountain bike. So I'm very proud and really just grateful I made it all the way through. It would have been hard to start all over again if something had happened and I couldn't finish. Yeah.
That sounds so amazing. We took 2020. We had a teardrop, and so we used that to go on just where do we want to go mountain biking. I don't think I did
Awesome.
nearly quite that much climbing, but I sure got really great biking shape that year.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
still very much a mountain biker. Like that's by far my main sport. I have a lot of friends here who are also into kiting and trying to learn that, but it's a very difficult sport to learn. And we have a lot of sharks in the water here, so I'm like a little nervous about just dragging my body through shark infested waters. And then yeah, soon gonna start learning how to dirt bike, which I'm really looking forward to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch over to Loom 6. What is the origin story behind your brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my story is so similar to many entrepreneurs, like experiencing something that was just could be so much better. And so, like so many women, I've always struggled to find a sports bra that worked for me. And I felt like I either had to sacrifice comfort for support or support for comfort, and just really struggled with that. Even since high school, I was wearing two sports bras. I'm larger busted. And yeah, and then even, once I started my professional career and I was, developing technical garments either in snow sports or in cycling, I was still just having these awful experiences with my sports bras. And because of that professional expertise that I had and being really exposed to like the best in class technical materials and like some of the best factories in the world, I just had this realization like this can be so much better. And I didn't feel that the large sports brands were going in the right direction, even with all of their resources and even with all of the testing that they can do and like access to, endless things. It just still felt when there was a launch of these new sports bras like aimed at solving problems, I would go try them on and just absolutely hate what came out, And so, and talking to other women, there's so many women who experience that in a lot of different ways. There's so many pain points women have with sports bras. So at one point, I just decided like maybe I'm the right person to solve this problem. From my personal experience combined with my professional expertise, and so just set out to make the best sports bra that I could, solving the pain points I had experienced. I kind of had my like checklist of things I wanted to get to. And when I did, I was like, well, I can't not share this with other people. I need to like get this out in the world, It was
Mhm.
definitely always the intent to make a brand, but when the product turned out to be so good, it was just, yeah, absolutely a no-brainer.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
share your struggle. So it's those darn swimmer
Yeah,
shorts.
I know, totally. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's wild being in it now and, going to events and talking to so many women. It's not just like large busted women or just people who are particularly strong. Like it seems like almost every woman has a pain point with their sports bra in some way, and especially when you start focusing on women who are like endurance athletes or just like an athlete to whatever degree, they're spending so much time and trying to do such awesome stuff. And then there's this like little pain point irritation that's just nagging at them. So yeah, I just feel like women deserve so much better, like especially when we're trying to be active and doing these amazing things that make us feel so good or pursuing a goal. I think there's a degree of like women having to put up with this like irritation in maybe so many aspects of our life that like if I can remove the sports bra distraction and make it better, that's a huge win, I think, for women, for active women.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So what is the
Yeah.
philosophy behind your brand?
Yeah, so the philosophy behind the brand is making the absolute best gear for women athletes, like no compromises in my mind. And I don't think there's a lot of brands out there doing that. From my experience working in larger brands, there's just conversations that happen that don't really serve the end customer. And especially when you talk about like women's product in a primarily male dominated boardroom or, meeting or whatever. I think there are some brands who have the best intentions, but because of the price point their customer is used to or just the product they already have and like trying to make things work there, it just you don't have somebody like starting from scratch trying to make it as good as it can possibly be with like the latest materials. There's like some level of baggage, whether it's like someone not agreeing with the direction it should go or just like, structural challenges. So, yeah, for me, it's about making the absolute best product. And, we don't have that many products right now. And so my own personal preference is definitely like visible in the products that we ended up with. I really didn't want any hardware on the sports bras because I get really irritated with like transitions in materials on product, especially when it's next to skin, and the idea of something like hard that's moving on my skin differently than the fabric or laying on it or like trying to move through it and having like really feeling it next to my like as I'm trying to be mobile just would bother me. So
Mhm.
I just really wanted to make them like as minimal as possible, but working as best as they possibly could. And so for me, like kind of the checklist I had with the sports bras was like had to be lightweight and fast drying because so many sports bras just stay wet forever, and there's just no reason that it needs to be that way. You can use a better fabric. I think we're trained to think that heavy fabric means support, and it totally doesn't have to be that way. Has to be supportive, obviously. As a larger busted woman, that was like, yeah, no compromises there. A lot of the magic in the sports bras is the fabric, being able to balance those two things, support and lightweight and breathable. Um, and then we made straps that don't dig in over the shoulder. So there's a little bit of cushion built in, and the way they're built just allows them to lay flat consistently. So you don't get this like pressure point. You don't get it like pinching and creating this pressure point over the shoulder, which can cause so much neck and shoulder discomfort. All bonded seams. So there's no chafing or irritation from thread edges. So um, my one of I think there's so many favorite features I have in the sports bras, but another one that really seems to resonate with women is our mix and match sizing, where you can pick a different band size versus bust size. So if you like try on a size medium, but you need more room in the bust, you can get a medium band, large chest. And that's the most common fit complaint for women with sports bras, is that it'll fit in one spot, but not another. And so that's kind of our solution to it. And when I explain it to women, they're like, oh my God, that's such a good idea, and it's just one of those things that I could see a large brand not wanting to do because it's more sizes to keep in stock or, what. And they're like, oh, well, most people can fit into this. So that's a very long-winded answer to say, like, we want to think about every single detail, use the best materials, and make the best product for women athletes for whatever it is that they're pursuing, so that they're not distracted by their gear. We want them to like focus and be joyful pursuing whatever it is they're doing in the sports bras.
That's amazing. When I got my samples for gear testing, immediately out of the box, I noticed the fabric. So I'm a triathlete, but I ride
Um,
all the bikes. And instantly I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot like my really high end, like my swim skins, honestly, where it does have the
yeah,
separate edges and the bonded edges and the really nice Italian fabric. I knew it was Italian without even.
yeah, without even reading the label. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We work with one of the best fabric mill, one of the most technical fabric mills in the world. They're based in Italy, in Lake Como, and they make a lot of the Olympic speed suits for like speed skating or for swimming. And they're like very focused on aerodynamics and hydrodynamics and thermoregulation to make sure it's like drying as fast as it can and the athlete is getting optimal performance from the gear that they're using. So they're very philosophically aligned with what I'm doing. And I got exposed to them through cycling. We in cycling, the cycling industry does a really good job of making great product at the high end, like using those great materials. But that stuff just hasn't trickled into sports bras before. And so, like you said, it feels completely different, but familiar because there's other great products out there you've seen. And so, yeah, us women deserve that.
I know. Well, and I actually help moderate a Facebook group that's for triathlete women. And
Amazing.
especially like the new people are just like, oh my gosh, because we swim, bike, and run, and you're dumping water and you're just
Yeah,
a huge soggy mess. And so I've actually been floating your product out there as a really good alternative because it is,
amazing.
it's like swim skin fabric. It is made to dry. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that means so much. I mean, spreading the word about the brand means so much. And you're totally right. And I feel like it's such a good solution for triathletes in particular. I did a couple triathlons, just like a, sport and an Olympic, I think, at one point. And it's just like, yeah, that transition from water to bike, like you're going to be dry way before other people and you're not going to be as cold. And it's just like a much better experience than being damp for hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh,
Yeah, the things we're putting up with.
right.
Yeah. But
Okay,
gear's
so I want to.
important, Yeah, like gear in I think we are at a higher price point because we're a small brand. So we're not like for example, like we're not ordering tens of thousands of one model of sports bra like some of the larger brands are. And so in apparel, your price goes down when your quantity goes up. But not only that, like the fabric we're using is, I'm gonna say like 20 times more expensive than the typical fabric that's used in a sports bra. But because of that, you get these technical benefits. You get this like real life experience that's better. And it's more durable. It's like a woven fabric instead of a knit. So it maintains its shape and structure over time. And so I think it's really interesting to talk to women and try to get them to think of their sports bra as a piece of gear versus a piece of like apparel, because it is so much more functional and it's worth investing in to have a much better experience.
I was just going to say it's an investment piece.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So
Like
let's
shoes,
talk.
for running or the
Oh,
bike. Yeah, you
yeah,
get
exactly, exactly.
it.
Let's talk about how you ended up developing what is now
Mm.
your line. So, kind of what was your
Yeah.
process and your testing and iterations? How did that go?
Oh man, I've got this huge bin with so many sports bras in it. I probably have the record for number of sports bras owned by one person. But through my own experience, I had always gravitated towards racerbacks, just because they like distribute the load really evenly versus over the shoulder, especially with the weight that I deal with being a larger breasted woman. And so gravitated towards that, but I tried everything. I even tested a lot of adjustments. Some of the initial samples I had did have adjustability built into it. And just to see if I could get it to be the way I would want it to be. I had a pretty clear picture of initially what I wanted the models to be. We started with the high impact and the medium impact. So I was kind of developing those simultaneously. The high impact, think it was the high impact. Gosh, I can't remember now. Was the one where I was trying adjustability in it. And so I would get samples in, fit them on myself. I would get my size, fit them on myself, and then I would test them, like go out for runs or go for bike rides, things like that. A lot of the time, I would get these kind of like Frankenstein samples where like half of the sports bra would be built one way and then half of it would be built a different way. Because if there was something I was really trying to debate in my head, like what's the right direction to go here, it was kind of impossible to decide. Like even testing them back to back, I still would just be like, there's pros and cons of both. I can't decide. And so that was really great. And it took me about 3 years to develop the product. I worked full time. Then I'm still working full time, another job. And so, I think it probably could have been faster, but I'm really glad I took the time to like sit with it and live with it and experience it in lots of different ways before making decisions on, yeah, fit, cut, whether or not to do adjustability. I spent a lot of time testing different like elastic bands because I'm a big believer in not having a sports bra restricting your movement or breathing. And so many of them do that to create support. Like the band is just like not, it's just very rigid. But then you get like pain and discomfort in your rib cage because you have to breathe hard when you're
Right.
exercising.
Or
So,
chafing.
yeah, or chafing, exactly. So really spending the time to find the right, all those little details was super important to me. And then I tried to make them less expensive also. Like I was like, well, what if we stitch this seam instead of bonding it? Because bonding and being able to do bonding where it still stretches really well is a very technical, very hard to manufacture thing. And so that results in expense. And so I like really tried to find like where can I stitch it to bring the cost down. But every turning point in the road where I had to make a decision was always like what's going to make the best experience for the athlete, like what's going to make it the best performing and the most comfortable. Like those two things are non-negotiables. And so yeah, just stayed really true to that. And then at one point had some wear test samples and sent surveys out to women I knew and used that to kind of fine tune any other details I was considering.
Nice. Did you have a large
Yeah.
range of bodies or did you just do like a sample size?
I did. Yeah, I definitely did. Once we got to the size set range, I had a range of bodies. I mean, I was definitely the primary wear tester on the early development days, but as I was like finalizing the fit, because of my experience in developing product, it really helped, like my job was fitting garments for so many years. So that, a lot of that has to do with like having good grade rules so that the sizes end up in a good spot. I do think there's sports bras are so personal. I certainly don't expect it to be the solution for everybody because our breast tissue composition is so different, our personal preference is different, like just our body shapes and sizes. And so what I was trying to get to was like, yeah, for this athlete, a good fit that feels true to size in this range. And so, yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Nice. What have been
Yeah.
some surprises that you've encountered along this journey?
Oh, there's like a pro side and then there's like a like business challenge side. So one is like it's so amazing to see women experience like a good product for the first like seemingly they've been on this journey of struggling forever, and then when they find it and they try it on and it really works for them, and the amount of enthusiasm I get to experience from that person because of how relieved they are, is just, I think that's what I was always looking for. But like the way that it's come across to me through this experience, I don't think I ever could have anticipated. And it's just really heartwarming. And then like the second part of that is like it's really amazing how many sports bras people will get if they find something they like.
Yeah.
Some people have bought like 10 sports bras. I'm like, wow, that's like $1,000 for the sports bras. That's incredible. But it just goes to show that like when you find something that works, you want it, you want to invest in it, and it's the only thing you're going to want to use. On the flip side, I think it's been surprising to me how hard it is to get people to know about it. And I think there's a big part of me that wants to believe that someone with a great product that works hard, like it'll get out there. And but I think when I started, I just knew so many women have struggled with sports bras that I thought there would be maybe more organic growth of the brand by women talking to each other and things like that. And it's just slow. It's just like a little bit slower. And I think that's good. That's the way I want the brand to be. I want it to be really authentic and like it getting to the right people at the right time. But I'm just not a marketer. I'm a product person. And so it's definitely a skill I'm having to fine tune and learn and grow with. But yeah, yeah, that's been surprising from the business side.
Well, hopefully this podcast will help get the word out to some more people and
Yeah, I
they'll
appreciate
share
you
it
so
around.
much having me on because yeah, it really is the hardest part of starting a brand. It's just getting enough people to know about it. But then
Yeah,
once they do, they love it.
I
So
know. Well, and something like I personally love is just featuring small brands that
yeah,
need a little
totally.
bit more attention, right? Because the big brands, they
Yeah.
don't necessarily need that, but we want to like
Right.
foster and develop these smaller brands to help you guys be successful.
Yeah, and just building off that, like one of our challenges was at one point, it feels like running stores are a really good space for us. So we like partnered with a few really great running stores that like seem like the right fit for us, but they're so staffed by there's a lot of guys in running stores, and then there's also such a focus on footwear in running stores.
Mm.
Even in a shop though that like has a focus on women's apparel, has women's salespeople, um, there's a challenge to compete with the big shoe brand product that's in the running store. So like being small has so many challenges built in. It's not like just getting it in a store doesn't mean it'll do well just because there's all these other factors that you're dealing with. So, yeah, no, it means a lot to highlight small brands. And every entrepreneur I know will stand by that also. It means the world. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back on like sports bras nights at my local running shoe store, and you're right. They're all shoe.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I get it. Like from the bike side, I was in it so long. There's like, you get discount incentives for volume of product you bring in across whatever categories they have. So like I get it. It makes sense. And people know the brand also. Like that's another challenge. You can have a great product and people be interested in it, but if they've never heard it before, they might be hesitant to try it on. And so yeah, it's an easier sell. And so yeah, I get it. We're
I'm
building
thinking
towards
you
that.
need to
One day
like get
will
into the
be that.
triathlete market.
I think so too. Yeah, yeah. I'd love to see all the triathletes out there rocking Lume
Right?
Six in the transition zones, you
We
know?
like the technology and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Totally. Yeah.
we also like spending money. So
That's true. That's very true. Just get your arrow helmet and a
I
great
mean,
sports bra.
you just put there like the word word aero and people will flock. So
Yeah, really aerodynamic sports bra,
exactly.
depending on,
Right. I mean, the rules do say like for women, you can do sports bra only.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I
So you
think
can take your top off on the run and tie it around your waist or whatever.
I'm pretty sure I was never like an aerodynamicist expert when I was in the bike industry, but I'm pretty sure like being covered in a
Yeah, like
fabric would be
for the
better.
bike for sure, but then women
Yeah,
often will take off their top layer on the run for heat and it's legal just to run
totally.
sports bra.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, then it's product placement. So
Exactly.
that's another surprise too, now that I think about it, is like the challenge in getting photography that feels natural, I guess. And also like user generated content is so much of what we see on Instagram now. And like, a lot of people don't wear their sports bras or don't want to like share a photo of them. And even on in a photo shoot setting, like getting it to look natural is hard. You can pretty much just run or do yoga. And like no one's mountain biking in just a sports bra, really. Like that photo would look
I
weird
like
and not
scratchy.
authentic, which is hard because like my community is mountain biking. So like I want to feature mountain biking, but how do I do that in a way that's as authentic as I feel to the sport? And so yeah, that's been like an interesting challenge.
Yeah, I'm like, I've never seen anyone on a mountain bike in a sports bra.
I
No.
think I have, but it's not a look I would want to go
Right?
for. Yeah, like all respect, like go for it.
I'm like, ooh, scratchy.
Yeah. And that's the
Thing.
other thing too is so many women's athletic brands are either yoga centric, or they're like urban gym centric, I guess I would say. There's kind of like this division. And one, totally get it from a photography standpoint, like way easier to get those images of sports bras. But my kind of going back to the brand philosophy, I really believe that there should be like an outdoor women's brand that speaks to athletic women, and that we're not just like yoga and we're not just gym or like urban fitness. It's like there's so many like my people, I am, and you're outdoors, and I just want a brand that speaks to me in that way,
Mhm.
and making the best gear possible.
Okay. Well, what is next for Lume Six?
Oh, I'm very excited about what's next. I've been working on a lot of products, which is fun because, since I launched the brand, I just had the two sports bras and then launched a low impact sports bra. So now we're not just going to be a sports bra brand anymore. Um, and so I've been working on a couple of tops, a short sleeve top and a tank top, and really focused on like, no surprise, ultra lightweight, ultra breathable, like can't even notice it's there, but like has, great modern fit and styling. So I'm really excited about those. And then I'm also working on a pair of tights and a pair of shorts. Of all the three products, the shorts were first and my main focus because I'm so tired of running in tights in the summer because my shorts ride up. And so I've been like, again, going back to the brand philosophy, I should be better about talking about this and like wrapping up in a neat bow. But like, I very much want to be focused on solving problems for women. And my problem with shorts is that they ride up, and so many women have that problem too. So I'm
Triathlon shorts.
really, yeah, yeah. I'm really happy with how they're going, and I can't describe like how they do it because I'm like working with a lawyer to potentially get them patented and all of that stuff, but I've never had shorts not ride up, and these ones don't ride up, so it's amazing. And then tights are kind of like, I feel like I have less to innovate there, but it's more about making a better experience because so many of us are in tights for so many different activities. And I swear I cannot find a pair of tights that will not pill between my legs to save my life. It's like it's either that or they don't have the storage or whatever. I've tested a lot of tights too and just felt there was a little bit to be desired between the
Yeah.
construction of it and the fabric. And so I don't feel like I'm going as leaps and bounds with the tights as I have with sports bras and the shorts, but I'm very excited for like to have that product that's such a cornerstone of working out for people who are fans of Lume Six. And yeah, I'm wearing them right now and they're great.
Nice. Yeah, I always
Yeah,
have challenges with just like the shorts that ride up because I don't have skinny legs. Like
exactly. Me
I just
either.
don't.
Yeah.
And I can't wear loose shorts because no. So like
No,
triathlon shorts are
same.
great because they have the leg grippers, they usually and they're compressive. But for like
Yep.
other folks who may not know triathlon shorts exist or they don't want like the chamois running shorts. Right.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, I have yet, unless they're like a longer, just above the knee, highly compressive.
hmm
I
Which I don't
cannot
love
find.
those. Like
I don't either.
I'm right there with you because that's my experience too. Like I have thick thighs, that rub against each other in the middle, and it's either like a bike short or the long ones. And the long ones to me are just like I can't. It
You
just
may as well
doesn't, I
just wear
don't like how it
tights.
looks. Yeah, exactly. And so this first one, the launch of it will be a compressive short, but then the next version of it has this relaxed fit short built around it and still doesn't ride up.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, I'm very excited about it. I feel like that's really solving such a huge problem that so many women experience and is, yeah, exactly what I want to do with the brand. So
Well, if you need some testers,
yes,
I think you know
definitely.
who
I
to
just
grab.
ordered wear test samples and I have a few extras in each side, so I'll definitely hit you up.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, there was some. Oh, another thing I'm really excited about that I just definitely don't want to forget to mention. This year we launched our Support Women Athletes campaign. And so it's a grant giveaway, and we give 4 women $500 to pursue whatever athletic pursuit they're going after. And I just did it back in August, and it was the most wonderful part of running the brand. The response we got, the people who replied were so spectacular, and the winners were full of such like energy and gratitude and excitement. And yeah, I'm just really excited to do it again next year. We'll probably launch it around International Women's Day. But yeah, that's such a big part of what I want the brand to be, supporting women through their gear, but also like meaningfully, financially. Hopefully one day we'll have a team, and have professional athletes that we can support also. But this is like the way that we can do it for now. And I'm super psyched about it.
Sounds that sounds really incredible. I love that you're doing that.
Thank you.
All right. So now to wrap things up. I've got some
Yes.
surprise lightning round questions. Hopefully
Okay. I'm
fun.
ready.
Okay. How many bikes do you own?
Oh, I know. One, two, three, four. I think 4.5. I
Okay.
share a dirt jump bike with a friend.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I have 7 or 8,
I'm like, am I forgetting one?
something.
It might be 5.5.
Right?
Yeah. I
Exactly.
don't do triathlon, so I get out of like 2 or 3 of those,
Yeah.
surely.
Okay. So which bike is your favorite?
Oh, I have a Contra trail bike. It's a steel trail bike made in Santa Cruz, and I feel like I'm flying and I feel like a superhero. And at the first time I got it in June and took it to Whistler right away, and I was just like, am I a professional mountain biker? Sure feels like it. So I just rip around town on that thing and I love it. It's like a high pivot too, so it like really stands out. People definitely notice it.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your favorite trail to ride on?
Ooh, ooh, that's
I
so
know it's a
hard.
hard one. It kind of
That's
depends on your
so
pace. You can name a couple.
it's so funny because I can't even remember the correct name. Santa Cruz is a bunch of illegal trails, so they have a million different names. But I think, well, Mario Kart, when the dirt is good, is one of my all-time favorites. All of these are illegal. I'm probably whatever. People get fussy about that. But I think my favorite trail in Santa Cruz is Donut. It's in Nicene, and it's a really long climb to get to it. Most people don't like going out there. But to me, it's just like classic. It has a little bit of everything, great turns, fast sections, and it's not the steepest trail. It's not like the hardest one to ride, but it's really fun.
I need to come out there
It's,
and play
it's
bike.
probably one of the ones I've ridden the most because it was part of my million feet routine.
Yeah.
And at one point, this was like in August or something, I was riding up the fire road and I was like, oh, weird, that rock moved over there. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm spending way too much time out here.
I do that with my local trail too. Like,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
so now I'm like running and riding it too. So
Yeah, yeah.
I know
But then
all the routes.
I'm gonna honorable mention Angry Pirate and Whistler because I really love that trail
Awesome.
too.
Awesome. So I think I know the answer about for this one. Climbing or descending? What's your choice?
Descending,
Really?
100% descending. Oh yeah. I hate climbing. It's awful. I hate climbing. I did the million feet to try to like get over this like issue I have with climbing, and it definitely worked. I don't hate it as much as I used to, but my strength is definitely in descending, and climbing is hard for me. I'm like heavier and compared to my super light fast climbing friends that I have. So yeah, no, I'm a descender for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, those were my lightning round questions. Do you have anything
Amazing.
else that you want to add?
Just to support small brands, I think try to pay attention to what small brands are trying to put out there because it's a little different than big brands, and if they care about it enough to run it in their free time or to quit their job and try to make it a full-time deal, then it's really meaningful to them and worth at least checking out. And then if you do find something from a small brand, tell your friends because it means so, so much. So whether that's me or some other brand, yeah, that would be my last little, you know, speaker post.
I think that's a great place to wrap up. We're going to put a
Thank
link in our
you.
comments and in our socials on where you can find Lume Six and how to get your hands on these really like well-designed, comfortable, adaptable sports bras. So thank you so much for your time. It's been really great to get to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks for having me. It's been lovely.
All right. Thank you so much.